There's a war between facts and feelings. Who's going to win? We'll tell you right after this. Well, there you go. Thanks for watching.
We had a show before the show.
You guys missed the greatest conversations while the waffles are on the screen.
Yes.
It happens a lot.
Maybe we should turn the audio on for that portion.
I don't know.
Probably
No.
not.
Probably
No.
not.
Things
Probably
have
not.
been said.
That wouldn't be a good deal. But
It's just for
People
us.
would be rolling their eyes right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Man.
Lauren and I were just talking before in our respective careers, the struggle of people not necessarily realizing the seriousness of what they're doing and being very cavalier about the information they provide. And specifically, like real names.
Yeah, details
Names.
matter on legal documents such as real estate transactions and
Legal
a trust.
names.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's important that we use accurate information, not just like what you name.
You're not signing your name at Walmart for your credit card transaction.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
You
You
can't
scribble
write.
anything there.
You can't just write "Let's go Brandon" on your receipt like we used to do a couple years ago.
There's a classic thing that happens occasionally sometimes at a closing table because the title company will provide a document that shows the names that came up on a search for you.
Yeah,
okay.
it could be a lot of things.
And it's a
right?
lot of things. It could be like with a middle initial, without your middle initial, blah blah
short
blah.
name, full name.
But occasionally somebody gets cheeky and applied for a credit card application on spring break, whenever, when they were
20.
slightly inebriated and put their name as like something ridiculous, like
McLovin?
Felix McCrevis, like, and they're like, really? And then there's other times where fun surprises come out and like, oh, you were married before. I didn't know that.
And the spouse goes, I didn't know.
I didn't know you had a previous life.
Fascinating.
Yeah, so be careful. It matters. The
Yeah.
point to that is it matters.
Full disclosure, once you get married,
Yeah, yeah.
I've
Tell your
never-
spouse before.
before
I've
there's a
never-
real estate transaction.
I've never had the secret prior marriage come up.
That's happened. On closing tables. Not
wow.
personally to me, but
That's got to be fun to watch. I mean, reality TV, you don't even need to watch it. You've
No,
seriously
you're
seen
You're
it.
living it.
I'm going to go refill my water. Be right
I
back.
need to leave
Let you
the
two
room.
sort this out.
Oh yeah, that's a famous title closer
You can
story.
imagine where you walk out of the room, I walk back in. I hear you need a pastor. Where should we begin?
Yeah, marriage
How
counselor.
quick do we need to get this done?
I'm the same person you married.
Oh man.
Oh, that's so
I mean,
good.
it is
does
important
seem-
to use your legal names.
Yeah.
Like, don't. Yeah. Anyway.
So the worst scenario that we ever ran up on was a guy had passed, so his heirs and family are dealing with this. So he had lived his whole life using a different name.
Oh, wow.
So his birth certificate said one thing.
Okay.
His social security card had the name he used his entire life.
Okay.
And everything, his insurance policies and all of that stuff were under this name he had used. And it was not like a crazy different name. It was just like a different first
Just a
name.
different version of the name, yeah.
So his death certificate matched his birth certificate, but did not match his social security number or any of his legal documents because he used
Yikes.
not my real name for everything. And now here are his kids who had no idea what his real name was because he never used it, trying to deal with insurance companies that won't pay because that's not him.
Oh my gosh.
Nate Bargatze does a great bit about that, like going to the airport.
Yes,
you're like, she's going to flip out when she realizes that some people call me Nathaniel.
Nate, I better never tell her about name Nate. Yeah. I'm thinking, what's he say? With the picture and 80% of the name, maybe we could get. Yeah, that's a good bit.
Get there.
That's a
Sure,
good
and
bit.
80% of the name.
Yeah,
That's a good
it
bit.
is a great bit.
Did that situation ever get resolved? I mean, were they able to like?
Yeah, we had to go to probate and have a
gross.
probate judge review it, order it, all of that jazz.
I think we've got the same person here, right?
Yeah, it was a deal. It was a deal. But people, talking to your lawyer, talking to your realtor, use your real information.
Well, it's weird though, because some people they get into a contract with somebody and they're still withholding, like it's almost like they're playing poker with the person that they've hired to help them, and it's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
If you don't trust the person you've hired to help, maybe you shouldn't have hired that person.
Right.
Or why do people do that though? It's
I don't know.
weird.
Well, they do that. They do that with me, more so when I was the criminal defense attorney than they do now. But
Yeah.
You guys, I mean, in what you do, those details are at the forefront of your mind. For most people, they're just not thinking about it.
Yeah, no.
This is what I go by. This is what I sign most of the time. And it's just, that grandchild is like a child to me.
Yeah.
It's like those stories. They're just not thinking on that technical level.
Yeah.
They're just going about their life, minding their own business, trying to pay their bills.
Do.
So I get, we get to do these client meetings to get ready for that, and I start asking all of these questions, and people look at me like, "Why are you asking me these questions?" I'm like, "Because this has come up."
Yeah, you've never thought of it before. But
this has come
I've
up.
been in the room when this has come up.
So these are really your children.
Mm-hmm.
They're your first generation biological children, and they're both of your children, because those are sometimes. I mean, those are some touchy details sometimes that people don't want to like.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Cinderella's not getting the
his
trust,
and hers, and we've never treated them like his and hers. They're ours. I mean, I understand that, but these are stepchildren. And
Right.
Yeah.
These are biological.
You got to
children.
spell this out.
We have to spell it
It
out.
will not be assumed.
Correct. We have to do it. Whatever you felt during life
Yes.
is not what's going to be interpreted.
Facts, not feelings.
I've got something yesterday, and this is a new way people are scamming people.
Oh, good.
It's not that new, probably, but so my dog got microchipped recently, and I had set the tag stuff on my desk, and I was catching up on things after being off over Christmas, and I go to, like register, right, with the microchip company.
Right.
And so I type in, I think the web address was like Home Again or something like that, homeagain.com. They're not a sponsor, but they could be. Good morning, Beth.
Beth's a sponsor.
Beth is
She's
a
an honorary sponsor.
She's
of
the
the
wind
Waffle.
beneath our wings.
Waffle on Beth.
So I
Waffle with us.
quickly type in Home Again, and I click what comes up, and the website looks kind of weird, but it says like pet microchips, dog microchips, whatever. And
I've
like,
seen this page that comes up.
And so I click, and I'm like, something is not right. And so I go back. I had typed in HOMEWGAIN. I just mistyped, right? Well, a scammer has set up a website with that.
Very common.
Yeah,
accidental.com.
that's a business model.
Yeah.
Is
Buy up all the domains that are similar.
Typos.
And,
Yeah. And it's like, but I think it's even more nefarious than that. I think it's just legitimate trying to steal your information.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
And it's like, here we are.
Yep.
And I'm like, we continue to get, the amount of, it's like I told someone on the phone after that, we're going to get to a point where
You don't trust anybody.
everybody is going to get scammed because they're going to get so good that everybody is going to have it happen to them.
Well, if they would put as much creativity and effort into like a legitimate
That's
business,
what
they
I'm
probably
saying.
would be doing fine. But
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I was just having a conversation with an FBI agent Friends. We're friends. Okay.
Not
Yeah.
that kind of conversation
Yeah.
with an FBI agent.
We're friends. He
was-
follows me
You didn't call me,
everywhere.
so I assume.
Yeah. He was talking about. He was talking to some young people, and they were asking, or they were saying, I want to be wealthy so that I don't have to work, or I want to do something where it doesn't require much work, but I can get really rich. And then a little bit later in the conversation, he's describing this grand jury case that he had to go testify, and they're like, "Well, so what happened with that?" Well, you had some people that wanted to make a lot of money without doing a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is how they got all that money stolen from them, was that there was somebody out there that was scamming people. And so it was like really funny, like to hear him laugh, making this connection for these young people. Like, yeah, this is what happens with people like you.
I'm seeing a lot of young people, and not all of them. That seems to be the new career path, is like, instead of looking towards professions, it's like hustles. I'm going to try to figure out a hustle where I'm going to make a bunch of money.
Well, it's highly promoted.
Yeah, well,
Not
influencers,
everybody
yeah.
can do that.
True.
It's kind of like, I was a youth pastor when the millennials were, 20 years old, 15 to 25, and they all wanted to go into nonprofit work. And I had to say to some of them, not everybody can be supported.
By
Because we need
nonprofit.
people
Can do the supporting.
I'm grateful for the people that have supported me through the years, being in ministry and being in the nonprofit world. But if everybody does that, there's nobody to support.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I think
it was a great, it was a great ideal. But
I think that a lot of people have a big misconception that somehow being in nonprofit or ministry in particular is
Easy street.
easy. Yeah.
Oh
I mean,
actually, you're
I'm
just
glad
going
you
to
said
make,
it. I mean,
you're
it's
gonna make
not.
a lot less money, and you're going to work just as hard or harder than some people that make a ton of money.
And
I
if you're
think there's-
emotionally invested at all, it's heartbreaking at times.
Your heart is going to be all in it, and it's going to get
it's
trampled over
heartbreaking at
Well,
times.
and I think I see it manifesting in a couple of different ways. I think that sometimes you see people that have been in ministry, like that's what they went and they targeted and they picked it, and they've always been there and have never ever had any experience in the real world, and so their way of approaching their work is very different from people who've had a profit motive, and that I think causes a clash because you're looking, because those of us that are doing the supporting are looking at them going like, you did what all day?
Yeah, right.
It's like, there's maybe you should be working.
Side of it. I mean, I had a conversation with a young man last week, and he said, "Man, I know some people that are in the ministry just because they don't want to work."
They don't want to work.
Like, "Oh, I know lots of them."
And then I know a lot of people that work very hard at what they do, and we're grateful for them as well.
For sure.
Yeah, there's a model right now in building real estate business that like through an influencer way, but they don't have experience in real estate, and it's like,
I'm going to influence. I'm going to be an influencer.
it's like,
what have you experienced?
but you don't. Anyway, I'm not going to go too deep into that because I'll offend. I'll offend 1,000 of the current 3,000 realtors in the area.
We see trends, though, right? And so, what is trendy? People want to be a part of, and if you're going to be an influencer, you have to have experienced something, or you can't influence by experience. And so, it's
that's weird.
Just because something is trendy doesn't mean you ought to jump into it or have the experience to speak into it.
Yeah. Well, and it seems to be like. They got it wrong during the 80s and 90s and early 2000s of the kind of company owning your life. And and I do feel like the younger generation, and good for them, is saying, we're not going to do that. And that wasn't right.
Sure.
I mean, that there's, working 60, 70 hours a week and little vacation and being tied to a job where you forget to get married along the way, or you forget to spend time with your kids along the way. That wasn't right, to be fair. And so, I mean, I do appreciate that they're against that. I mean, they're not for that.
Yeah.
But
then the pendulum can swing too far.
You can have a balance of where you do work a professional career and still have a family life or a home life, family life, whatever you want to do.
Self-care all the time.
Correct. Yes.
I got to tell you, the mental health day thing blows my mind.
Oh yeah.
That I mean, that's unheard of.
That ain't
It's
gonna
like,
do it.
I'm calling it. I'm taking a mental health day. Like, What is that?
Well,
That's
everybody.
called Saturday.
Yeah,
well, and
right.
that
Saturday.
that mental health day isn't going to fix you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that's a legit thing now. I mean,
I
I get
know,
people actually
I
do.
know.
It's like like if you have the flu, you can take a sick day. Well, if you're just feeling like not working that day, you can take a mental health day.
Yeah.
But
What?
like the other end of
listen,
that,
I want to be clear. I think we have a mental health crisis.
we do
Sure.
100%.
We created
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And intervention is needed. However, there are some bizarre practices that allow people to just be into themselves
Yeah.
way too much. Because honestly,
Yeah.
you want to improve your mental health, go grind a bit.
Yeah.
Go work
Get to
really
work.
hard. Yeah, the reward of working. I mean, I'm not talking about the payday. I'm talking about just a job well done. That's what I've tried to instill in my kids.
And you've really hit on something
just enjoy what you get a chance to do.
because
Yeah, you can do
people,
that.
and I think men in particular, were designed to work, create,
Yeah.
and move.
I'm sorry, before you
Jump
keep
in.
that thought, I want to clarify. When I say enjoy what you do, don't keep looking for new jobs until you find, I mean, whatever
joy
you
in
do,
what-
find joy in it.
Settle
Sorry,
into
I
what
had
you're
to
doing.
clarify
No,
Yeah.
that's
because
good.
I don't want to be misunderstood there.
Yeah.
And I think
fair.
that's where a lot of our young men are struggling right now. Is they have an innate inborn drive to build, compete, fight, and win, and instead of in the marketplace competing, fighting, and winning, we compete, fight, and win in a fake video game.
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
And
Yeah, so
we
we've
get
domesticated
we try to get that
a lot of
reward
people.
that way, and it's a path to failure.
Well,
ultimately.
an interesting side to that too is, I have several friends.
Despite the fact I love video games and I'm
Well, they're
killing
fun.
at Diablo
They're,
4 right now.
they're fun as
Because
heck, but there's a
you-
time and a
you
place
can
for
do
them.
both,
Yeah,
right?
you
Sure,
can
yeah.
do both.
That's called Saturday.
Yeah, I spent
evenings or
a
whatever.
solid 2 or 3 years of our life playing a whole lot of Call of Duty. I'm not gonna lie. And
Great game. Love
yeah,
it.
it was a ton of fun. But we had little responsibility and had jobs.
Yeah.
So
Balance.
it made sense. It was
Yeah.
balanced. But I'm hearing a lot of these back to the influencer thing. So I have several friends who are moms who primary role, sorry, I couldn't get that out, is to stay home with their kids, right? But they struggle because they see all of this stuff being told what they need to do. Like, you need to be doing more than you're doing. You need to be making sourdough, and you need to be doing a side photography business, and you need to be, blah blah blah.
A real estate agent.
And you need to be a real estate agent. You need to have same thing for some guys. You need to do a lawn care service on top of
Yeah.
that, because all your wildest dreams will come true. And then so they're like, they get distracted from just managing their own home because it's easy to do
Yeah.
because you're never being told that that's just enough.
Well,
Yeah. It's never enough.
getting rich.
Yeah.
It'll never feel like
It'll
enough.
never feel like
You'll
enough.
feel like a failure.
Yeah.
Getting rich, whatever that means, making
Right.
a lot of money, having a lot of money, is just math. That's really all it comes down to, is do the math. Because
Yeah.
you can figure out pretty easily, I'm 25 years old. By the time I'm 50, I want to have $1 million in the bank. And you can do the math backwards and
Yeah.
figure out what you need to set aside and
Yeah.
then do your budget based on what your income is and review it on a regular basis. And it's not hard.
Well, I can point you to people who are very wealthy, who even retired early, and they worked very low-paying jobs, but they made massive sacrifices and used compounding
Oh.
interest and saved rather than spending. Now, they went through a season of they didn't go on vacations, they
Sure.
didn't have a lot of
Yeah.
extra things, but it's you make a good point. It is math.
It's just
So
math.
There are multiple ways to
Yeah.
a nice
I want
nest egg.
to bounce this off you. Okay, so to me, a lot of people think that the wealth, because there is absolutely more wealth in this area than there was 5-10 years ago. Okay, a lot of people think that that is coming in. There is people bringing their wealth here. I 100% agree with that. You can look at the Costco and the Amazon distribution center and say people have brought their wealth here because those companies don't tinker in markets where they're not going to make money.
Right.
But however, there is new generational wealth in this area from the increase in property values, stocks like O'Reilly and Walmart, who have made people who worked hourly jobs millionaires.
Yeah,
because if
absolutely.
they invested in those stocks and those people are coming to retirement age or have been retired for a couple of years, and you have these isolated situation of the Ozarks where there were those specific, and there's more, I'm just using those as example, of stocks that have made people wealth. And what I see happening is these families and they were very conservative financially families, and so they've kind of kept everything locked up for a while, and now you're starting to see them spend that money. And you're seeing them buy bigger homes. You're seeing them, everybody's getting the country club membership, And so somebody made a comment on a post about an entry-level house, and they're like, I feel terrible for the children of this, or the kids up and coming or whatever it is. Basically saying they're not going to be able to afford houses. There's a different side to that. Generational wealth has now been created in this area. And for not all kids, some kids never get land and, or some kids' parents never sell their house and use it to build wealth. It's not for everybody. But there is a positive side to this.
Sure.
A whole lot of wealth has been created in this area that didn't exist before or was locked up in a vault and nobody was using it.
And if you'd like to keep it locked up, we can put that in a trust.
Yeah. So, it's not, the idea that it's a bad thing that these property values have gone up, that's kind of crazy. That's only looking at one side of the coin.
Well, and just remember, pricing and money and all that, it's just a number. It doesn't really tell you what the value is, because it depends on what the dollar is worth, because we have fiat money.
Right.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That's the whole minimum wage debate and all that stuff.
Well,
which is kind
you've
of
described
ridiculous,
something that's, I don't want to say it's unique to the Ozarks, but
Yes.
there's a lot of people that I've lived here my whole life in Missouri. There's just a lot of people that they do very well, but you wouldn't know it looking at them from the outside.
Correct.
And that's just.
I mean,
think
Bobby
that
Allison was the dude walked around in overalls.
And I mean,
who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How much money he had.
Right. And I mean, there have been people in my 30 years of ministry that have just, blown me away with their generosity.
Yeah.
And had I not had the seat that I was sitting in, I wouldn't have known, just because the way they carry themselves.
Right.
They're not like the Hollywood actors that are millionaires who are just, showing
It's
everybody
obvious,
how wealthy they are. They're just, they don't want that kind of attention. They're just quietly going about their business.
But that
whatever business it was.
that generation is aging, and it's going to be very interesting to see how the next generation is going to take the reins on that.
Well, it's not that interesting, because we've seen a lot of examples.
Yeah.
Most of them will squander it, and some of them will carry. Some of them will carry on their parents' legacy and do well by it. But sadly, a lot of people that inherit the wealth don't do well by it.
I think if you're looking back, probably my kids may be facing a larger struggle, because who knows how that wealth cycle is going to go.
We keep borrowing money as a nation.
Yeah.
I mean, that bill's going to come due one of these days. We just keeping kicking the can down the road.
Yeah,
which is
and
crazy.
We've studied history too, so our country's about to turn 250 years old.
Yep.
Right. We look at all of the empires of the world, and we look at the time frame.
Yep.
And I hate to sound doom and gloom, but there's always a collapse coming. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not going to be
depends
like
on
Rome.
Yeah.
Because it's not apples to apples, right? But, But we can look and say it's. We can't expect that America is going to run the world like
our
we
founding
are.
fathers gave us the best chance that we could have ever had.
I think
to hang on to it. We're just doing a really lousy job.
We're speeding up
we are.
quickly to the change. Whatever it's going to be, I don't think we know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but.
Hey, I want to make sure we get the word out there. We're having a little fundraiser event coming up here. We're going to do it here at the law firm in our community room over here. It's Super Bowl Saturday.
Dun, dun, dun.
I forget what the time is, but it's like 10:30 to noon.
That sounds right.
And if you want to be a competitor, you can bring a soup and a donation for newborns in needs, whatever that is, diapers, whatever you want to bring, and you get to enter that. If you want to come and try the tasty soups, come by.
Is that one of those where you vote with cash?
You vote with cash.
Mm-hmm.
You vote with cash, and then all the proceeds go to newborns in need. But that's the Saturday before the Super Bowl. Super Bowl Saturday. We'll do that here.
I probably shouldn't have signed up because I'm super busy, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Super busy. I like
super busy.
There. Super busy.
I'm super busy that weekend.
You've got something in your sights, I know.
Yeah. We have the, and then I'm like, for voting with cash, then it doesn't matter who has the best soup. It's whoever has the most money or the most friends that come. But I'm still going to make an awesome soup.
Thank you.
So, no, we have the PTA Valentine's Dance. It's
you go.
Boots and Barbecue this year. It's the night before, that Friday night from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Upper. It's for pre-K through 6th grade and their families, their guardians. They have to come with an adult. You can't just drop them off at the door and drive away. Do not do that. Don't do it. So that'll be fun. So we're going to do that the night before.
I know that the Wildcat Gala is coming up. I have no other details. The only reason I know is because Chris Ball texted me and asked me to buy a table.
There you go.
I got no other details than that. I don't know when it is. I don't even know
should
how
probably look
much
at your
I've
ticket.
obligated myself to
Yeah.
pay.
It's
Check
not
your
too-
email. It's in there.
Yeah.
Check.
I can't remember when it is. I remember seeing it.
Okay.
I heard the date the other day, but I can't
We'll get
remember
back to you
it
all
either.
on that.
Yeah.
Another fun little community announcement. Storytime Coffee
yeah.
is open on Thursday nights
That's
now.
cool.
Last Thursday, the snow kind of messed us up a little bit, but it was live music. This Thursday, I'm real excited. We're going to do this once a month. And if it's successful, we may do it more than once a month. But this Thursday is tutoring night.
That's a great idea.
So, like we've got some of the folks from Appleseed, retired teachers.
Yeah.
We got some people in our church that are teachers, science whiz, math whiz, all these. So whatever age your kids are, there will be help if they need help with ACT prep or they're struggling with a math class or whatever. We'll be open from 3 to 8 now on Thursday nights. I'm sorry. It is 8. 3 to 8. And so this Thursday night is tutoring night.
Now,
That's
you've got
wonderful.
one coming up that we're going to be there.
Which one are you excited?
Which one do you think that my nerdy family is going to show up for?
game night.
Oh, I
Game
know.
night. Yeah.
Game night.
Yeah.
We all have our commander decks. We are ready to go.
Bring your warlocks.
Yeah. They were asking me about that, and I'm like, what? Is that? I'm like, is that what they did on Big Bang Theory? They're like, no, that's D&D. I'm like, oh, is it
No,
like that?
they played some magic
Did
on
they
there
play
as
some-
well.
okay, so I wasn't-
or something similar
Something
to that.
similar,
Yeah.
okay.
The one where there was one featuring Will Wheaton. I think the first one he was in.
That's magic?
That's a game very similar to
Oh,
Magic.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Did you know that Will Wheaton's going to be in Springfield?
Will
No, I know,
Wheaton
'cause I'm
in
not a nerd,
Springfield.
so
Yeah.
I
Well,
didn't,
I actually just run up on this. I mean,
I'm very nerdy, but
Probably
not on
came
that
up on
level.
something. Apparently there's a Comic-Con coming to Springfield,
Oh, that's fun.
and Will Wheaton's going to be there. I can't decide if I want to go or not.
That's too funny.
He is playing such wonderful villain characters now in cameo roles in a lot of TV shows. It's really
That's
fun to
too
watch
funny.
what
I
he's
like
done.
it.
What Wesley has turned into. I just almost want to go just to walk up to him and go, "Shut up, Wesley."
He's probably heard that before.
I'll bet he has.
I bet.
Yeah.
I have to tell on myself. I have lived a lie over the past. I don't know when the first Harry Potter books came out, but many people of my generation have been in a conversation with
90s,
me.
right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
and
it's back in the 1900s.
I was getting into ministry, and
When they
and
were coming up.
church members were like, "What do you think? Is this evil?"
It's
That
fine.
was a big discussion in the church.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, I
like,
heard
you know
the
what?
stuff about my daughter couldn't sleep, and then I took the Harry Potter books out of her room, and then now she can sleep at night.
oh
I was
my
like, I think it's probably fun fiction. I think.
Yeah, I think you're
as-
fine.
As long as you talk to them
as long
about
as
the Lord,
you
you're
don't
okay.
go too deep into it. So I've lived a lie though, because I'll have conversations with people my age, and they'll be talking about Harry Potter and be like, "Yeah, you know what happened here?" And I'm like, I don't know. I never read them.
Really?
There was a period of time where I was so busy being a teenager that I basically didn't watch movies and didn't read books.
Oh my
right?
gosh, yeah, you were a teenager then.
They
Well,
are.
I don't
know.
actually know.
Yeah, because I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I think they were coming out when I was in law school.
I turned
Yeah, that's what I'm
16
saying. I
in
was in-
2000.
Because
So,
you'd have been mid-20s, I'd have been early 20s,
Yeah.
you'd have been
I don't
your
know.
teenage years.
so by all means, most people my age did read
Yeah.
them. I wasn't a 10-year-old,
Well, they're an easy read.
Oh, I'm reading them.
Yeah.
They're delightful.
Yeah.
Me and Evie are reading them together,
Now,
which is a hoot.
The
That's
movies are completely different. I mean, the same basic premise storyline.
fun. Okay, that's good to know, because now
but-
we're going to start watching the movies.
But not. I mean, the books are so much better. So much more happens in the
as
books.
always,
Just more
yeah.
detail and or everything.
Yeah.
The books are much
But
better.
they're great. They're delightful. But I've
Which
not
one are you on?
lied and said, oh yeah, I read Harry Potter. I've just nodded and smiled. I'm on The Prisoner of Azkaban, or
Okay.
how do you say that? Azkaban?
Yeah, whatever.
That's at the.
Yeah, they're
It's
all.
the first real thick one.
yeah. Not the first real thick one, because they get about like that.
Yeah, that's the next one. I think I'm on the third book.
Well, enjoy it while you can. They take a bit of a dark turn.
Ah, crap. Dang it.
Not to spoiler alert anything.
Spoiler alert, it all goes to crap.
Kind of like life.
Yeah.
A little bit
Yeah.
later
Well, I
on.
mean, he is aging, right? As the books
Yeah.
are going on, it's going to get more serious.
Well, I mean, not to get overly whatever about this,
Philosophical.
but it is a Jesus story.
Yeah,
I mean,
allegorically.
he sacrifices himself,
Yeah.
and I don't want to spoil it.
All
for
the good stories
Lauren,
are stolen
Great.
by the Bible.
but I mean, there are stories that reflect the gospel because they're intended to, and there are stories that reflect the gospel in sort of a twisted way, or reflect the gospel accidentally.
Yeah.
This is obviously more the latter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
There's a redemption story in there somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like Chronicles of Narnia where J.R.R. Tolkien looks at C.S. Lewis when he reads it and goes, "Really? You had a lion that died and got resurrected? Could you be more spot on?" It's like you didn't hide it very well, man.
Yeah.
Because
That's funny.
Tolkien's gospel is a little more. You got to suss it out of there.
Yeah.
Gotta suss it out.
C.S. Lewis kind of put it right in your
Right.
face.
Yeah. With the, you're talking about the Hobbit and
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
the
excited.
Rings.
It's fun.
Lord of the
It's been
Rings,
a great way to connect with her because I was like, she was reading the second book, and I started reading the first. I'm a fast reader when I sit down and read, and I'm like, I'm gonna pass you. You know that, right? She's like, oh no, you won't. Yeah, I passed her.
I think we read the Chronicles of Narnia to at least one or two of our boys. Did we read that with you, Peter? Do you remember?
He's like,
He
I
doesn't
don't know.
remember.
He's
He
like,
doesn't
I'm
remember.
he's
fog.
in that cold fog.
The cold fog.
Speaking of cold fog, did you guys enjoy the snow? Did you go
Oh,
out and
what
play?
a wonderful snow!
Yeah,
It was
I
the
was
best.
in Chicago. They got like 2 inches.
It was the best.
Really?
kind
You're
of
in the
snow.
wrong place.
6 or 7
Snow.
inches.
It's the snow you dream of.
I know.
Yeah.
So
and I was out of town.
you wake up in the morning. Well, we knew before they went to bed that there wasn't going to be school, but you wake up and there's legitimate snow.
Yeah.
And it packs into snowballs and it makes snowman. And
the
it
best.
wasn't -7 degrees.
You
It
could go
was
play in it.
nice outside.
Yeah.
You got hot in your snow
Yeah.
gear. It was the snow of everyone's
I
childhood.
do want to highly recommend that if you decide to take your children sledding, finding a sled hill by a road and then just like parking in the road, blocking traffic
safe.
while you
That's
sit
not
in your
safe.
car while your kids sled is a really, really bad idea.
It's not safe.
And
Let's
make
not-
sure you have permission to be on that property.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
let's just not do that.
I will say nothing warms my heart more than seeing people gathered at a hill sledding together.
that's awesome.
That's super fun.
We drove by the Y on Republic Road
yeah. That's always a
on
popular spot.
Saturday, and I was like, look at that. Gaze upon that majestic activity. Now, in church on Sunday, there was a lot of people like creaking their necks and like stretching their backs. They're like, oh, I've been shoveling snow. Took the kids sledding.
Yeah, Shayna sent me a picture. I was in Chicago, and so that would have been Friday afternoon, right? She sent me a picture, and it was our driveway and our sidewalk cleared off, and I said, "Oh, sweetheart, you are going to be so sore tomorrow." Like, I can't believe you did that.
She
That's
should have just
awesome.
went up to Mountainside Outfitters and bought her a flamethrower. Right? That's the way
Yeah.
to do that.
Hey, I mean, she's in good shape. She
Oh,
runs a
Well,
lot
yeah,
of miles.
obviously. That's a
It's a different
different.
muscle set.
Different
Yeah.
kind of workout.
Different
I'm like,
muscle group.
oh,
Yeah.
you are going to find new muscles.
Yeah, that's what was fun is we have really great athletes come to train Taekwondo and not realize that it's not the same thing.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
moving different
Yeah,
muscles.
totally
and
different.
All that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
It was magic though. It was the best kind of snow. We had
So
a great
beautiful.
time.
The flight from Chicago, just this
I
white
bet.
blanket
Yeah.
from Chicago all the way. It was just beautiful. It was, really neat to see.
I saw a meme that validated everything I've ever thought. Per every inch of snow, your body needs an additional 1,000 calories, and that math tracks. Yeah.
For shoveling.
No,
or for
just
playing?
for eating because you're
Just-
inside, and just seeing an inch of snow
Yeah. That's
allows
awesome.
your body to get
I like that.
1,000
That's
more
even
calories.
better. I like the way you're tracking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's science.
Pure
it's math.
justification science.
Yes,
Love it.
it
It's
is,
great.
100%. But no, we made bagels. What else did we make? We made different snow things. The bagels turned out really good.
Nice.
Like, we did the whole boiled bagel thing. It was
Wow.
really good. Yeah. And what else? We made other things, too. I can't think of them right now.
Cool.
I don't know. It
All
was
right.
a lot of fun.
Well, hey, let's shut her down for the day. We'll be back next week. I got a special guest coming in, I think, on the 28th.
Okay, cool.
To talk a little bit about travel, because travel season's coming up. So she's going to come and share some like that. But stay tuned right here on Planet 417, whatever channel you're watching on, whether it's YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, or our app, planet417.com, because at 9 a.m. today, 9 to
Yeah.
11, the very first show, Pastor Alex Bryant's Frontline Faith is going to go live at 9, so
Woohoo!
stay tuned for that. Watch his show every Tuesday, every Thursday, 9 to 11.
That's awesome.
Right here on Planet
Very
417.
exciting stuff.
Facts.
So
Very exciting.
he'll be there, and we'll be back next week. Thanks for watching.
Bye, guys.